We've seen an inundation of people coming in from the villages. The only thing they know to do in the big city is drink, and this mood-altering chemical-fueled crime has just gone year over tea kettle in this town in the last year and a half. Almost all these violent crimes have something to do. There was a stabbing up here on Bergon Mountain View a couple weeks back, and I happen to know both guys, and I'm not involved at all with the investigation, but I dare say that alcohol was involved in that particular incident. And we need to, when we talk about prioritization, we do need to start working on the mood-altering chemical aspect of these crimes, because way too much of what's going on, way too much of what we wind up walking into, whether it's a car wreck, a building getting burned, a robbery, way too much of this knifing, way too much of this stuff is fueled by a mood-altering chemical situation. And we need to start trying to get to that root right there. Thank you.
Darlene Hector, East High School teacher. I taught phys ed this year, taught 25 years as a school teacher for 25 years for the state of Alaska. And I wanted to respond to, or to speak up, because a gentleman spoke up earlier saying that the influx of people coming in from rural Alaska come in here and they're drunks and add to the crime. And if you were to look at the crime map in Alaska or in Anchorage, you will notice that a lot of the crimes are not all Alaska Native people. I do want to say that I think it's time for, I've been watching for 10 years now. I've been communicating with leaders in this area and with the mayor's office and the former chief of police, and I'm not afraid to talk to the leaders in this area, and I think it's time for our community to come together in embracing all cultures to work together in what we need to do to combat crime in our community. I think one of the biggest things that we have is basic communication acceptance of one another. And I think that, I've heard so many stories of our people coming into town here, from my own people, and sometimes this community is not very friendly, and I'm one for not walking down on 4th Avenue because of the stigma attached to Alaska Native people. But there are some really neat Alaska Native people that work and live in your community here. And I think it's just time that we come together and embrace each other as leaders. There are leaders in the Alaska Native community that are willing to help out here and to try to combat crime and to work with the youth. And I think that would be the best place to start with our own hearts and working together to see what we could do to make some changes in our attitudes within our community, and I think that you'll find a lot of people willing to do that in the Alaska Native community. Thank you.
Earlier, a man said that because he was not involved in drugs or alcohol or any of those things, that the possibility of him being, murdered statistically was almost zero. Well, as a woman, I don't think I have that same luxury, if you look at the statistics. If I were a Native woman, I wouldn't have that luxury at all, whether or not I was involved in any of these other things.
This paper here says the rate of rape has risen 7% last year, and it was already 3 times higher than the national average. And that's already pretty high. So what I'm thinking is, if it's already that high, we should have more people funded to help this. But what I can see, I've been the victim of violent crime before, and I think what we need is not just more police officers on the street, but stiffer penalties for the people once they get into court, and counseling in prison when they're in there so they don't become repeat offenders and become over and over again arrested. But also, Linda Cowan just spoke and she said something that kind of struck me. I wanted to say something for her. She said she felt like she didn't have a choice. And she said if she was a Native woman, she wouldn't have a choice at all. And I'm a Native woman, and I have a choice. And I'm here because I was born in Anchorage. I was raised in the Anchorage area, and I'm a volunteer in the community. I volunteer with Napa Valley Patrol. I ride around with Keith a lot. I also with Sam. I just joined the Anchorage search team, and I'm alumni for the Citizens Academy for the Anchorage Police Department. And as a Native woman, I feel I do have a choice. And I've done those things. You know, I may not be on the payroll, I may not be part of your budget, but I am part of the community, and I'm here to tell you that as a community member who is up and taking a stand, and as a Native woman who's taking a stand, so can you. Thank you.